I do want to jump into a very deep project that you're also in. I mean, from what I heard, I mean, you worked on it for like 6 months,
Yeah.
which was Emancipation, right? When
Yeah.
Ben Foster, who I think is one of the best actors of our time, such a great method actor as well. Will Smith, who I just absolutely love. I mean, what was it like? I'm sure it was an intense partaking for you, but I mean, what was it like working on a film for 6+ months and also getting in the character for this role?
It was wild, I mean, I say 6 months, but we had a shutdown for like a month and a half, because it really just speaks to kind of how hard it was physically. Because first of all, there was, everything was. We had first they moved it from Georgia to Louisiana, right? And then we started in the summer months of June and July, and we're shutting down every day because of heat. Every day
Yeah.
because of heat. So like a month in, we're like 2 months behind. um, and then the Hurricane Ida hit,
Oh yeah.
destroyed all our sets. Everyone got sent home for a month and a half. So that's really just speaking to how hard it was physically. I mean, it was brutal physically, but that was kind of secondary to how hard it was spiritually. Just knowing that this enslaved man had endured this journey to get back to his family, and we all kind of held this sacred obligation to tell this man's story. And of course, I play one of the bushwhackers, or one of the hunters that's kind of serves as Ben Foster's right hand man to
Yeah.
track down Will Smith's character. It was tough. It was tough physically, spiritually, emotionally, and every aspect of it was pretty demanding. But I love the film, and I think it's Will's best work, and I think it's some of Ben's best work, and I felt very grateful just to be there to support them.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. I mean, for me, I mean, I was excited to watch it kind of building off the momentum with King Richard and then jumping into this film as well too. Such a deep movie. I mean, it's available on the Apple streaming network as well, and
yep.
all of you just did a brilliant job. And I mean, for Ben Foster, I mean, he gets so deep into these roles as well, and you worked side by side with him as well. I mean, just from working, aside him as well too, and even for you, is it easy to snap in and out of these types of characters, or is it just the brilliance of the work that you guys are putting in?
um, I don't I wouldn't say it was easy to snap in and out, because we were just there for so long.
Yeah,
Um, but Ben, yeah, Ben's terrific, and he was, he kind of stayed in it pretty consistently, um, and he was just doing fantastic work, and he was a great ally to me. Me, him, and Aaron Moten are in pursuit of Will's character the whole time, and that's exclusively on horseback, and he was probably the best horseman out of all of us. And there was the expectation that I had the good fortune of going out there a couple of weeks early to train with the horse wranglers and the stuntmen, and ride a horse every day. But and Ben was actually very helpful, and there was, even when we were shooting, Antoine wanted us to go out on Saturdays and ride horses. And I think in large part that was probably because I needed most of the work, and Ben was, all game and there, and helping me out every step of the way. So, yeah, I'm just so it was really exciting to see the work you did, and to be involved with it.
was this one of those projects where Antoine and and the writing team as well and the producers, were you guys able to bring in some of your own like artistic liberties, or did you have to kind of stick with what was on the script?
Yeah, I think Bill Collage had written such a great script, and I think, yeah, I think we kind of stuck to the script. I mean, you always have your ideas, but at the end of it all, it's just a director's medium. So
Yeah,
it's ultimately, you could shoot it nine different ways, and it's if he wants it the one way, then that's what it's going to be.
yeah,
But again, I thought the movie he made was quite beautiful, and the work that Will did and Ben did and Charmaine did was I think it's some of the best work this year. Is it? I don't know. Is it necessarily getting a fair shake? I don't know. I
yeah.
really don't know, because I, I, I see that film, and I just think it's pretty excellent. But I fully admit it might be hard for me to separate myself from my biases.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, the movie is still, I mean, if it's a few months, out, so definitely it's still kind of catching its legs as well. And also, too, from what I also hear from a lot of fans is the Apple streaming network. It's still relatively new for not a lot. It's not as it's even though it's been around for a while, but there's not a lot of say subscriptions just yet. I think that's something that Apple still needs to work on. But also, there's a handful of upcoming projects. There's huge investments but like high budget movies that are coming out.
Yeah, yeah,
Also, the Martin Scorsese movie that's coming out with De Niro and Leonardo DiCaprio. I mean, that's like 250 million plus. So I feel like the Apple Network is really going to be that next big, huge streaming platform as well. So I think just having more access to it, because the movie speaks for itself. I mean, it's really, really good. The talent's
yeah,
really amazing. So I definitely feel like it's going to continue to only get
yeah,
more momentum as it's catching its legs.
yeah. I mean, I think that they really kind of staked their claim when they made Coda, which won Best Picture, right?
Hmm,
Um,
hmm.
you know, yeah. I mean, these streaming services, and understandably so, they don't, they don't really care if people see them in the movie theaters. They want the subscribers,
Hmm, hmm.
um, and so it's kind of yeah, it's just a part of a changing model, and
Yeah,
so they've kind of taken that model and said, and they've been at the forefront of that. Um, so I you can have a movie like Emancipation, right? Or like or Coda, or any movie that any streaming service does, right? And they might not necessarily want to put it out in theaters, because ultimately their goal is to get the subscribers, right?
yeah, yeah,
But they do oftentimes, because if they think they have something that has a worth potential, it has to
yeah,
have a X amount of time in theaters, right? So it's kind of unfortunate, because it sets up for a false narrative, right? So let's say they're like, okay, because we have to have a film in theaters for X amount of weeks to qualify for the awards. We're going to put it in the bare minimum theaters, not a lot of screenings, because ultimately we want people to sign up for the streaming service, right?
yeah,
And then you see, but it leaves open the possibility for media to take on this false narrative of,
yeah,
this movie, didn't perform in the box office, but it's kind of a disingenuous headline. Well, it is a disingenuous headline, because
yeah,
these streaming services don't want that.
yeah,
They want the subscribers. That's what they want.
yeah.
I
Like
mean,
the same.
quite
Yes.
explicitly.
Yeah, I mean, The Irishman kind of, broke this
Yeah.
ground as well too, right? It was like
Yeah.
150 million, $200 million movie, came out to Netflix, and from what I read, Martin Scorsese really had to push for a limited release just so that they can qualify. And they got
Yeah.
like 10 or 11 Oscar nominations. I don't think they actually won any Oscars, but I mean, 11
Yeah.
nominations is
Yeah.
huge. So definitely, I think that something like that. And so, like, technically, it made 9 or 10 million dollars across all the screenings, but at the time it was the number one stream Netflix movie of all time. So
Right.
I think it does help to get sort of a limited screening because the word of mouth creates
Yep.
business, right?
Yep. I
So it
agree.
just needs to get out there, and but that's why I think part of it is that like I can admit to I don't have the Apple streaming network. I was able to watch the film at someone that actually had it. So more and more people will continue to build, and Apple will figure it out. I'm sure they'll be able to figure out how to get more subscribers. But creating great content like Emancipation and some of these upcoming projects, really, it's going to help with sort of that release going forward.
Yeah, yeah, no doubt, no doubt. At the end of the day, it's another, it's just another way for um, filmmakers to, to make stuff that gets seen.
Yeah,
And I love what Apple's doing. I really do. I
yeah,
love what even Netflix. I kind of love. They seems like they've leveled up a little bit. I think Apple was at
yeah,
the forefront creatively of
yeah.
really taking chances on some really really cool storytelling.
Mhm.
Netflix, it seemed like they kind of fell into this. I don't know, something was happening there. But lately, I really love that the stuff that they're putting out, and even some of the stuff that I read, some of the scripts. I'm like, oh wow, that's cool. Um,
Yeah, I think Netflix was falling into the problem where they were maybe having too much content, I
yeah,
think. So I
sure,
think now they've sort of, because like I would have been curious. I was wondering why the Scorsese movie wouldn't be on Netflix, right? With the success that The Irishman had.
yeah,
But maybe Apple had the bigger budget. And again, like it's a crazy figure. It's like $250 million to make the movie, right? So they know what they're doing. It's going to create more subscribers and more movies of this caliber as well.
absolutely. I mean, and it works. I mean, I heard that I heard that uh, um, um, the day I could be wrong on this data, but like right around the time that Emancipation was released, they had like 6 million new subscribers or something.
Wow.
You
Yeah.
know, I mean, and if you're looking at getting one moviegoer's one ticket at 15 bucks at the movie theater
Yeah.
versus paying every month for an infinite amount of time. That's obviously the better business model in the long run. you know so I don't know. But thankfully there you got these movies like Emancipation where you can go see it in the theaters, or you could see it at your home. I haven't, when I went to the premiere, I couldn't imagine having seen that movie on my TV after seeing it in the movie theaters. But
Yeah.
that's a spectrum of how people regard that experience. Some people just don't give a shit, and some people it's like, oh my god. Someone was someone was like telling me like, "Oh, look, I'm watching." They I'm watching your movie, and it was like a screenshot of their phone, like they're watching on their phone. I was like, "What are you doing?" And
Yeah.
I was like, "I'm watching your movie." I'm like, "Turn the movie. Don't watch it on your phone. What are you
No.
doing?"
No. No.
Like, please, and go to a theater, man.
Yeah.
It's like that's weird to me. It blows my mind. The movies are just exponentially better in the theater, and if you're not going to see it in the theater, then see it on a great TV. Don't watch it on your phone, man. you know
Yeah. Yeah. Fortunately for me, I mean, I'm a movie buff and I got a surround sound system. So I mean, anything that is obviously of exciting talent and big budget, because these movies are also designed to be with surround sound, Dolby Digital surround sound. 7.1,
yeah,
5.1. So you don't
yep,
get that experience with AirPods, left and right. You're not going to hear these explosions, additional dialogue that sometimes you get from a rear speaker. So yeah, you're kind of doing a disservice for yourself.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree, man. I agree.